Hi everyone. So in today's inquiry lesson, we are going to have a look at what happened in the Indus Valley because it is stumping all of the archaeologists as to what has happened. They have some ideas, but they're not 100% sure. So first of all, let's recap on what the Indus Valley was all about and some of the information about it. So you guys have come up with some fact files so far, and I think you've created a bit of a mind map with some of the information. If you want to flick back to that page, or if you want to do it from memory, what can you remember of the Indus Valley? So have a think about what you can remember, and let's see if you can get any of these points. Do you remember any of those things that we went through? So it was one of the first ancient civilizations ever known, one of the oldest as well. People would farm and they would trade. They'd done lots of that to survive. It was situated on the banks of the longest river in Pakistan. So situated meaning where it is in the actual place. So 4 Acres Academy is situated within Withywood. And our last one, I'm hiding. The civilization was peaceful. So the archaeologists have found no reasons for weapons, or there doesn't seem to be any warfare or any sort of signs of war. So they believe that the civilization was largely a peaceful one. How many of those did you get? Did you get 4 out of 4? So by 1900 BC, so 1,900 years before Christ, many Indus cities had been abandoned. Historians believe things started to fall apart around 1700 BC. So how many years ago was that? Think about your timeline and what BC stands for. How many years ago do they think that the civilization started to fall apart? So looking at the ruins, we can see many changes. The cities became very overcrowded with houses built on top of houses, and people stopped maintaining the drains and they became blocked. Some traders even hid their valuables under the floors of their homes. What were they scared of? Why did this happen? What kind of things do you think may have caused this amazing ancient civilization to sort of slow down and stop? I wonder. So this is what some of the historians, the people who study history, believe. They believe trade was very important for the Indus civilization, and their main trade partner was Mesopotamia, which you can see is just north of the Indus Valley civilization. And this was a very advanced civilization in the Middle East, Mesopotamia. So around the time of the Indus cities started to fail, Mesopotamia was going through huge political problems. So a political problem is something when the people in government or the people in charge are having a bit of an argument. So one group may believe that they need to trade with someone, whereas another group believe that they should not trade with them because maybe they've upset them or angered them in the past. So Mesopotamia was going through major problems with the people that were in charge. So because of this, their trade networks collapsed, and this would have had a massive impact on the Indus city. So a trade network, if you imagine all of our roads across Britain, that is a network of roads that connect all our cities. A trade network is the same sort of thing. You have places that are all connected via trade routes. So the Indus Valley may have had lots of trade routes to Mesopotamia, so they could trade information, trade resources, trade valuable items or animals, water. They would have traded lots of different things. But if those roads and networks break down, then it makes it really hard for them to trade. So as a result, there would have been less work for traders and for manufacturers, which made things to trade and sell all across the area. So other historians, they believe that the Indus Valley civilization was destroyed by a large war. And in the 1940s, archaeologist Mortimer Wheeler discovered 39 human skeletons at the Mohenjo-Daro. He believed that they were killed by invaders. So here is the site, Mohenjo-Daro. Apologies if I'm butchering that name. I wonder if any parents would be able to help me say it better. There were 14 mystery skeletons found in the room in the center of this photo. Were they killed by invaders? Is a question that they asked. However, it's more likely that these cities collapsed after natural disasters. Enemies may have moved in afterwards. So natural disasters, they can include lots of different things. Have a think about what the word natural means and what a disaster is. So if you had a disaster in a quiz, would you score well or would you score badly? If you said badly, yes. So a disaster is something that's bad that's happened. If it's natural, is it something that has been created by humans, or is it something that's been created by nature? So if you've said nature, then you would be right. So what kind of things cause lots of damage in nature? Have a think. Maybe say aloud a couple of different ideas. If you would have said things like tsunamis, drought, forest fires, cyclones or hurricanes, flash floods, volcanic eruptions, all of these things we have no control over, and everything that's living on the planet has no real control over, and these things happen naturally as a part of the planet that we're on, but they can be devastating in what damage they can cause. So again, everyone, because no one's got an exact answer yet, everyone has different ideas. So other historians also think that farmers still grow crops in fields beside the Indus Valley, but notice how the water from the river keeps the crops green. So many historians believe the Indus civilization collapsed because of changes to the geography and climate. So water is a vital resource for plants to stay green and healthy. And if that changes in any way, then it can cause the vegetation to change as a result. So movements in the Earth's crust, the outside layer, may have caused the Indus Valley River to flood and change its direction. So when we have earthquakes, we have, if you imagine the planet is a big, like football, a sphere, there's a thin layer all around that sphere, and that's called the crust. So imagine a ping pong ball. Inside the ping pong ball is all the earth, and then that thin white layer is just its crust. Now, all is solid. There's no cracks or changes in the outside of it. The earth has got different plates. So imagine it like a jigsaw, and those jigsaw pieces are constantly moving, and some are being pulled away from each other, some are being pushed away from each other. And when we have an earthquake, it's because two of those plates have pushed against each other and released lots of energy, and that energy is shown as a vibration, which literally vibrates the floor that we're under, and we have an earthquake as a result. It's the same way that mountains are made when two plates push together it's also what causes our eruptions. So when those plates sometimes move apart, it allows hot liquid to rise up from the inside of the earth, and that liquid is liquid rock, and you might know that as magma or lava. So that's where earthquakes and volcanoes can originate from. So the main cities, if those tectonic plates are changing, and they would stop, change, or move water flow, those main cities were closely linked to rivers. So changing in that river flow will have a major impact on how they obtain water, feed their plants, feed them, water their plants, sorry, and provide water to their crops as well. Or even some people think that people just sort of the ability to grow food was diminished, and disease may have set in, and with lots of people panicking, the people that looked after and ruled the cities sort of lost control, and people fled to safer areas. People were pushed out of the area because of those reasons that we discussed, and then they were pulled in to other areas because of better living conditions. So your task today will be to draw a picture of what you believe happened at the very end of the Indus Valley civilization. So you might think it might have been an earthquake, it might have been poor farming, it could have been riots or invaders. I would like you to draw a picture of what you think happened, one of the last sort of scenes of this great civilization, and then take a picture and share it with me. I'm looking forward to hear your ideas. I'd like to see a little bit of text in the bottom just explaining your idea. So the sentence stem might start, I think that the Indus Valley civilization ended because, using those subordinate conjunctions that we went through today. All right, so good luck and look forward to seeing your work later, guys. Cheers.